course ENT202. And in our last tutorial, we spoke about the manufacturing sector. Today, we are going to be taking our bearing from the commercial sector. With this being said, let's all straight into it. But just before then, please, it is essential you submit your notes to the private class whenever you are done with each classes. This is one way we observe and measure your progress. All right, do well to do this, and as you join the stream, also do well to smash like button, make it a behavior, make it an habit, inculcate the habit of smashing the like button. To subscribe to the channel, do well to subscribe to the channel. Also, please do well to share to your friends and your classmates that they can also benefit from the amazing thing going on in the private class. With this being said, let's go straight into it. So now we have ENT202, and we're talking about the commercial sector. Okay, from the word commercial, all right, anything that has to do, activities that has to do with transactions between one or two persons, okay, that concerns buying and selling, all right, that has to do with buying and selling, then we can refer to that as commercial. Okay, you must have heard of the word private, like my private car, commercial car. My private car is not commercial car is not a private car. All right, the commercial car has to do with taking of passengers, buying and selling of services actually. All right, and the private doesn't do such. So when it comes to commercial, it involves the exchange of value, buying and selling. Okay, now it is very important component. Commercial sector is a very important component of business and is concerned with buying and selling of goods. All right, concerned with, all right, the buying and selling, okay, of goods or services. All right, so we have that as that. Now it includes all activity which are connected, all right, to the transfer of goods from one place, production, to the ultimate consumer. Any activity that has to do with the transfer of goods from one place, all right, to the ultimate consumer, all right, activity that has to do with that involves, okay, the transfer of goods, all right, from the place of production to its ultimate, all right, to its ultimate consumer, all right, or to the ultimate consumer. Okay, so we have that as that. The whole range of commercial activities is classified as trade, which involve the process of buying. All right, the whole range, the all and sundry of the commercial activity is encapsulated. Are we together? Is encapsulated into what we call trade. Okay, it's encapsulated into what we call trade. Okay, so we have commercial activities, trade, encapsulated into what we call trade. Now, and trade involves the buying and selling of goods. Right? Trade involves buying, the exchange of goods, all right, and services for value. Now, trade is classified into two types. Okay, we have trade classified into two types, which we have the internal, all right, and we have the external and the external trade. Okay, now when we say the internal trade, what are we talking about? The internal trade, okay, speaking of the internal trade, this involves the process of buying and selling of goods within the edge of a country. All right, the buying and selling of goods that does not go beyond, all right, the buying and selling of any goods or services that doesn't go beyond the circumference, that doesn't go beyond the border of a particular country. Okay, are we together? All activities, buying and selling activities that happens within, okay, within a particular country, then we refer to that as internal trade. So we have within and without. Okay, so here all activity that has to do with the buying and selling of goods and services within a particular country. Here is without. So here is within and here is without. Internal and external trade. Now, when we say internal, the process of buying and selling of goods and services within the edge of a country is called internal trade. Now, this could be wholesale trade or retail trade. Now, let's take that down. Internal now is subdivided into wholesale or retail. Are we together? Wholesale or retail trade. Sorry, wholesale trade or retail trade. Now, the wholesale trade, like we all know, it's not new to us. The wholesale trade has to do with the process of purchase of goods in huge quantity from who? The producer. All right? Huge quantity producer, and we sell to who? Retailers. So we have purchase, all right, in large quantity, LQ, all right, from producer, then resell to retailers. Okay, that explains wholesale trade. Then the retailer further sells the goods to final consumer. So it's a process. Okay, now speaking of retail trade, the purchase of goods or services from the wholesaler and selling in small quantity to the ultimate consumer. All right, so we have purchase from the wholesaler now. All right, purchase from the wholesaler, then sold to the final consumers. Okay, goods purchased from the wholesaler is then resold or is sold to the final consumer that requires the goods. So that is the process. And speaking of the external now, Okay, we said something about external trade being activities that goes beyond the the territory of a country. Okay, now there are two types of external trade. There are import trade and export trade. Okay, there are import and export trade. Import trade and export trade. Now, import trade here involves the purchase of goods from foreign countries to be sold in home country. Purchase of goods from foreign countries, all right, sold locally. All right, when I say locally, you get them from foreign country, then you sell them in your own country. All right, that's import. Export now, on the other hand, is the opposite of import, which involves the purchase of local goods to be sold in foreign countries. Purchase of local goods to be sold in foreign countries. Okay, so you see how it works from the commercial sector, breaking it down to activities, all right, trade, breaking it down to the internal wholesale, retail, to the external imports and exports. So that's how it works. Now let's move on to the service sector. Service sector. Now, this sector is usually engaged in the provision of intangible products which cannot be seen or felt. All right, provision of intangible products can't be seen, all right, seen or felt. Okay, can't be seen or felt. Okay, when we say, it's like just a service. Okay, service you cannot touch, you can only, okay, can't, it's not a form of, okay, it cannot be seen. It means that it's not tangible. It's like a software. When we say software, you can only see them, all right, because you cannot touch them, all right. So they are actually kind of intangible product here, unlike your pen, your Bible, that you can see and touch them, all right. Felt here is like touching, all right. It's like touching, not feel, all right. Please, let's not mix up. Felt here is used in the context of feeling like this. Felt, okay, I felt the texture of the wrapper. Okay, I can feel something like that. All right, but intangible is more of like a service. You enjoy a service. All right, you don't see, you don't feel them. You don't see, you cannot touch them. You only enjoy them. All right, so that's the point we are trying to pull here. So now, the sector is made up of direct or indirect service. All right, direct, and we have indirect service. Okay, direct or indirect service. Now, let's continue. The direct services are those services that are provided by professionals, such as healthcare, teaching, legal services. All right, provided by professionals. all right, provided by professionals, healthcare, teaching, i.e., health care, teaching. All right, we have legal and legal services and the likes. Okay, so we have the indirect services are those that are offered to exchange activities of industrial and commercial sectors. These services are offered to exchange activities of industrial and commercial sectors. Now, in business parlance, they are called aids of trade. All right. Two, let me write this in another marker. To enhance the activities of industrial and commercial sector. Industrial and commercial sectors. Okay, they are more like an assistant, aid. Okay. Now, these aids which are compulsory for development of trade are as follow. All right. Now, this aid that we're talking about has to do with insurance, transport, and warehousing. All right, warehousing. We have one, insurance. Two, we have transportation. All right, and three, we have warehousing. Okay. Insurance, you have to insure your goods, all right, your assets. Transportation, you need to definitely, like in the commercial sector, you need to definitely get your goods to where they are required, and you also need to keep your goods safe. All right, these are the things they actually do. Also, we have banking. All right, we have banking as well. Also, we have advertising. All right, let me put that as number 5. Advertising. Okay, so now let's continue. Permit me to raise the board so we can take more points. Now we have what is called long-term characters of ventures. Okay, I'm going to be looking at some characteristics of ventures. Okay, characteristics of venture, and starting with, we are going to be looking at the long-term character of ventures. Long-term character of ventures. All right, don't forget, in our last class we talked about ventures. All right, I would say it's a risky, all right, exploration. right? Something that you are uncertain about, but you just want to go into it because you believe, or let's say you have calculated the risk and the chance of pulling through is high. All right. Now let's see. Entrepreneurial influence is no doubt strongest at birth of a venture. All right. And they may decline thereafter. That is very true. All right. You know, when you are starting a new venture, the entrepreneurial influence is very high. Okay. Is very high. All right. Influence is strongest. Strongest at birth, at conception, at birth. Okay. But with time, it might decline, and we decline thereafter. Okay, I think I should do that in red. Decline thereafter. Okay, now entrepreneurs were able to concentrate their attentions on their ventures over a sustainable period. Now the enterprises struggled much less and retained through to their purpose. All right. If an entrepreneur can concentrate his attention, all right, on his venture over time, that particular enterprise will struggle less, all right, and remain original to its purpose. Now, let's see long-term character of venture. All right, let's see different types of it. All right, long-term character of venture includes okay, we have independence, we have believers, we have conservers, we have architects and controller. All right, architects, and we have 5 controllers. So now, who are the independents? Now, independents are essentially one-time venturers who, having established their autonomous enclaves, will simply act to maintain them into a definite future. All right, this is to say that this type of venturers are die-hard venturers. All right, they are die-hard venturers. They stand by what they believe in, and they ensure they build it to success. All right, those are the independents. All right, they are die-hard venturers. One time venturers having built their autonomous. All right, please don't stress if you can't see what is on the board. Please, I usually read them out, so you have to listen. And also, even with your note towards exam, you still get my own keynotes, all right, which I restrict to people only in the private class. So if you are here to become a member of the private class, do well to join, all right, because one of the benefits is that you get my personal notes for your exams, so you can study for your exams with my personal notes, and that's one of the advantage of out of several others, all right. There are one-time venturers who having built their autonomous enclaves will simply act to maintain them into indefinite future, all right. Enclaves, all right, act upon that view upon that and stands by it. Okay, now we have believers. Believers tend to create venture framework within which they can continue to motivate and build according to a consistent structure of idea. All right, believers here believers they work with a venture framework. All right, they work a venture framework and build according to a consistent structure. All right, consistent structure or idea. Okay, we have the conservers. These are similar in nature. All right, conservers are of similar nature, having come to the rescue of a cherished institution. The conserver will also continue to exert its efforts and retain responsibility for maintenance on an even keel. All right, so now the conservers here are almost the same thing with the believers. All right, having understand that this is one thing they can put in the effort, and they also put in the effort and follow it through. All right, we have the architects. Architects is especially committed to continual elaboration of his enterprise. All right, architect continual elaboration of his enterprise. Continual elaboration of his enterprise. And we have the controller that resembles independent but somewhat less reliable in terms of long term. All right, that's controller. Architect is actually number 4. So controller, they are almost the same with independence, but the thing with controller is that controller are not reliable, all right, in terms of long-term commitment. All right, independent but lack long-term consistency. Long-term consistency. Okay, so we have that as that. Now let's quickly take the the short-term character. All right, short-term character is just the opposite of the long-term. And under short-term character, now short-term ventures tend to be loosely committed, all right, to particular ventures, but dedicated to enterprising ongoing activity. All right, short-term, they are actually loosely committed, loosely committed. All right, all right. But what keeps them dedicated is if the business is still doing well, right? But dedicated to enterprising as an ongoing activity. Enter, all right, excuse me, dedicated to enterprising as an ongoing activity. All right, now they include, all right, e.g. they include the income seekers, players, income seekers, right, players, poets, and we have searchers. All right, searchers, and we have professionals. Okay, so income seekers, like the name says, they are just out there to seek income. Income seekers and players are the same thing, or out there to see what is going on, how they can make benefit out of it. All right, poets here, okay, poet here is more of a free spirit, okay, driven by internally, all right, driven internally to move away from ventures that have reached level of success. All right, he is more of a free spirit, so he is not always fixed to anything. All right, and searchers are they undergo long period of exploration, and they are restless, doing many. They are always here and there looking for the best pets. All right, and those are that's for. And professionals are short-term venturers in the sense that their attention span for a given enterprise depends on the level of intellectual or emotional freshness. All right, professionals here only want to get knowledge, only want to get they want to get what we call emotional novelty or freshness, and as soon as they get it, they are out. Okay, so with this being said, we'll call it a wrap for today, and in our next class we'll take it up from non-corporate business. Thank you very much, everyone. I believe you've been able to gain a thing or two into this class. Please do well, submit your notes to the respective quarters, and if you are yet to become a member of the private class, do not hesitate to join, as a lot is going down there. I look forward to seeing you all in subsequent tutorials. You have a wonderful afternoon. Bye bye.